I stopped breathing, or because I was scared, or because I wanted to hear it again, that sound, that slow breath. Human. The other side of the wall. My mind immediately began racing through possibilities. Hidden passage, crawl space between the walls. Someone living inside the house without my knowledge. You may think that sounds impossible, but older houses are built differently. Between the outer structure and the inner panels, air is sometimes a narrow chamber, just wide enough for pipes. Yes. Sometimes movement. At night I searched the house carefully. Every room, every closet, every window, every door. Nothing. No broken locks. No open vents. No signs of forced entry. Used to silence. But silence can be deceptive. Because silence does not always mean absence. Sometimes, silence means something is waiting, sat back on the edge of the bed, the photographs still scattered across the floor. Suddenly another thought crossed my mind. Someone had been inside the walls. How did they leave? The house had only one entrance. I had locked it. Fear does something fascinating to the brain. It activates the pattern recognition system. System tries to connect dots. And the dots do not belong together. A brain would rather believe a strange explanation and accept no explanation at all. And that is how paranoia begins. What with madness? Up with unanswered questions. I began getting and walked slowly toward the wardrobe. The wall was quiet now. Oh, knocks. Oh, breath. Us, the faint hum of electricity running through the house. Oh, knocking this time. Oft. Like someone shifting their weight inside a narrow space. The sound moved slowly along the wall beside me and stopped right behind the wardrobe. My heart began pounding because suddenly the photographs made sense. Someone had been inside those walls. I could see everything. And through small openings, ruby cracks in the paneling looked up toward the top of the wall, a ventilation opening. Barely noticeable, but large enough for a camera lens. For an eye. That was when the thought struck me. Someone could move through the house without ever stepping into the rooms, living inside the walls, watching, waiting. I dragged a chair across the floor and climbed toward the vent. The metal cover was loose. Ooh, loose. If it had been opened many times before. Lowly lifted it. Darkness stared back at me. Violent darkness. And something shifted inside. Slow scrape, a knee brushing against wood. Someone was moving in there. I froze. Listening. And something strange happened. I could not explain. Stepped back from the chair. Inside the wall, the sound stepped back too. Took another step. The sound moved again, touching me, following my rhythm. And the sound stopped. Exactly. That was the moment my mind made a terrifying conclusion. Someone inside those walls. I was moving when I moved. Listening when I listened. Waiting when I waited. Knew exactly where I was. Basically, something else happened. Bright light flashed across the living room wall. Headlights, and another. 3 vehicles. Moving slowly through the compound like a convoy. Security patrol. It was the first time since moving into Hidden Hills complex that I had seen them. Their lights set across the house, searching eyes. The vehicles stopped directly outside my gate. It began pounding again. The door slammed. Footsteps approached the house, and the bell rang. Once, then again. A voice called from outside. Too low. Is there someone inside? All I had to do was open the door. I turned the handle. I speak, but fear does something strange to the brain. Sometimes it activates the freeze response. Fight. What flight? Freeze? That is exactly what happened. Stood there, perfectly still, a few steps away from the door, while the officers outside continued calling. Anyone home? But I couldn't move, because inside my mind one terrifying thought kept repeating. If someone was living inside these walls, they were hearing everything. Every step, every word, every breath. Eventually the officers gave up. Vehicles started again. Slowly the convoy disappeared down the road. The compound returned to silence. But something inside the walls moved again. Slow shift. Faint step. Suddenly I realized something even more disturbing. The sound was no longer behind the wardrobe. It was above the ceiling now. Moving, following, acting. For the first time since moving into the house, I truly believed something impossible. There was a man inside the walls, watching me.